Hi guys, it's Joey, and I've been meaning to make this video for about a week, and I just didn't feel ready to make it or right about making it quite then, there and things got in the way, and then I decided that today was the day to come sit down and make this video. And this video is actually going to be discussing in some detail the subject of negative magic, as in curse work or hex work. And the principal reason for me doing this is so people can get some answers about whether or not have I been cursed, and I think I might have been cursed. I think someone might be directing negative magic against me. How do I know? What do I do? We're going to talk about knowing first, and then some information about what to do at the end. And some recommendations. And I have one book in particular, and I've got that right behind me right here. And I'm going to show it. I might show it to you now, actually, right? So we'll do that now. Now, I have had one book stand out to me in all the years I've been reading and practicing. And I read this book a long time ago, and it's a little bit damaged, but I've kept it in pretty good shape because I love it so much. And if I had to recommend one book for protection and magic, it would be this one. It's The Witch's Shield by Christopher Penczak. It includes audio CD and protection medications. So that's what, I don't know if it's the same cover now, but I love his book. I can't remember how long ago I actually bought this book. It might have been 2004. I'm not entirely sure. I do love his books anyway, he's very good. Anyway, so that's a book recommendation if you want to pick up a book about protection magic and shielding and psychic self-defense. Is probably the best one that I've ever, or at least the one that resonates with me best anyway. So that's the one I would most heartily recommend if it were me. If you wanted, a physical book to refer to. I know that I do. I know that I like having something to refer to and go back to, even now, even just to reassure myself in times of need. So, firstly, I suppose the first point we should say is that it's unfortunate, but it happens that people do cast negative magic. And it can be intentional, sadly enough, and sometimes it's not intentional. I'll discuss that a little bit more in a second. I think it's actually in the book I just recommended to you that there's a quote that says, if you think you are cursed, then you probably are, or you are. And this can sort of manifest itself in two ways, as far as I'm concerned. The first way is that if you believe something strongly enough, you think you are cursed, or you think somebody's sending you negative magic, and it's all you can think about, then you manifest that yourself. It sort of, you're doing things and you're expecting the worst and you're bringing negativity into your life. Whether or not person X has cast against you, maybe you just think they have, maybe they have led you to think they have, which is a really powerful tool. And it's basically them utilising the power of the mind, the power of worry, the power of stress, and you are basically making that come true. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You believe you are something, in this case cursed, or in for a run of bad luck. You believe you're going to fail, you believe you're going to lose your job, you believe this and this, and then you manifest that. So that's the first interpretation of, if you believe it then you are, or if you think it then you are. And then the second interpretation of that, as far as I'm concerned, is it's your gut instinct. It's your subconscious telling you that something has happened. Sometimes we need a little push from somebody. I know I did in recent times, and I'll discuss that in a second. Excuse me, I'm going to be drinking water throughout, even though you can't see me. But it's basically that little voice in your head saying something is not quite right here, something is going on, something doesn't feel right. And often it can be manifested in sort of very physical ways, like bad things keep happening. And I often think that bad things often come in threes. I've noticed that anyway. But when it's more than that, when it's just bad thing after bad thing after bad thing, and it's just, it becomes overwhelming, and it sort of taps into your panic, grief feelings and makes you feel negative. That's another sign as well, when you feel oppressed, basically. You feel got at, you feel angry for no reason, or you feel angrier than the situation should be making you feel. Your emotions are off balance. You might be in physical pain. You might have this, that and the other happening, and it just doesn't stop. These are all symptoms of negative magic being directed against you. Now, somebody doesn't have to be a witch at all to direct negative magic against you. It's just that witches are more aware of their energies and should be more aware of their responsibilities to others, but it doesn't always happen that way, unfortunately. And there are people who revel in hurting others, and it's a sad case of affairs. As far as my belief on this, I believe it goes against the values of finding everything sacred. You know, that witches are supposed to understand that the same energies run through everything. It's why people say nature is my church, because as above, so below. The energies of the divine run through us, run through nature, run through everything. That's why we utilise crystals for their energies, you know. That's why we utilise herbal magic for their energies. It's why we go outside and meditate within the earth, because we feel connected to something greater than ourselves. And to me, harming anybody or harming any person is sort of going against that. It's like willfully hurting. I mean, accidents happen, and by accidents I mean you say the wrong thing and you hurt somebody. Or you're put in a no-win situation and you end up hurting somebody's feelings. These things are unavoidable, and we have to fall on our own sort of moral and ethical standpoint. But willfully going out of our way to cast against people, to cause them harm because we're jealous or whatever, it's usually jealousy in one form or another, if you ask me. It seems sad to me, but it happens. It most definitely happens. And when it happens, we have to be able to, firstly, be aware, and secondly, deal with it. So people don't have to be witches. I mentioned this, so let's discuss this a little bit more. How can someone direct negative magic at you if they're not practicing magic? There are a number of different ways. I've said earlier about manifestation through energy thought. So if someone is thinking bad things about you all the time, they're basically pushing their energy onto you in a really negative way. They don't have to even be overly psychically advanced to do it. If they're just all the time doing it, then it's not going to help you. Sometimes people have psychic abilities and they sort of reject those psychic abilities. The perfect example is members of my inverted commas blood family were psychic vampires, for lack of a better term, which basically means they could force their emotions on other people, and did. Now, if you can imagine somebody who A, denies everything to do with it, and B, has that ability, and then sort of bad-mouthing someone all the time, trying to make them bring them down low all the time, trying to ruin their reputation all the time, calling them names, saying nasty things about them all the time. They have the abilities to force their energies onto others. It snowball effects and becomes quite negative. I was lucky enough that I could remove myself from the immediate sphere of influence of those people, although they still try with my sister who I'm in contact with. And as such, those people have the ability to curse us, to hex us, to send negative crap our way, basically. That's people with a little bit more ability behind them. Some people are completely closed off, don't believe in any of it, but they can still affect you. It probably won't be as effective, and can probably be gotten rid of with a daily meditation or smudge, which I would recommend anyway. And those sorts of, just people in general getting you down, you have to be careful that you draw a line and you realise that that's not necessarily cursing. It's just people's negative vibrations that you need to shake off a bit, and you can't become obsessed with the idea that everybody is out to get you because you just won't live your life. That is the other side of this. You cannot become overly obsessed with the idea of negative magic. If you do, you end up not living. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with protecting yourself, cleansing yourself, but as long as it's not taking up every spare minute of your time, you get into patterns with cleansing, healing and protection, and you find out very quickly what works for you. What herbs work for you, what stones work for you, what meditations work for you. I might even do a meditation after this. I will. I'll do a meditation after this to help people detecting and protecting against negative magic. I think we'll do that after this. Yes. For sure. Okay. I've distracted myself now. So once we get into a pattern of daily cleansing and protecting and this, that and the other, and this is necessarily, I can't speak English now. Sip of water. Grounding self. Some people sort of say witches are so obsessed with protection and it's a negative thing. I would disagree. I would say that witches are just more aware of the energies around them. And unfortunately, in every religious and or spiritual path, there are going to be people who are in it for selfish reasons, egotistical reasons, money-making reasons. I mean, everyone has a right to make a living, but people who are purely in this sort of thing because they want to sell you crap, and they don't take any pride or joy or ethical standpoint in that, which, to be honest, you should be able to spot them a mile off. There are people like that in every walk of life, and it's an unfortunate truth that some people get into witchcraft or branches of paganism because they think it can make them badass. They may think it makes them big, tough, strong, scary, or whatever. I follow the Morrigan and I see it all the time, and nothing winds me up more. It's like, if you honestly take the Morrigan's name like that and think that you can get away with that without her bitch slapping you, good luck to you. Rather you than me. Goddesses, dark inverted commas, because I don't like the term, but dark goddesses are serious business, and you should be humble and respectful in following them, and anything else, any arrogance, is just going to get you thrown on your backside, to be honest. Word of warning there. That could be something else, like if you've deeply offended a goddess or something, that might be why negative stuff is happening to you. Just as a side thought, you have to behave yourself and conduct yourself with integrity, honour, and trying to be the best person you can be. You know, you go around behaving negatively and putting out negativity and dishonouring a goddess, saying, yeah, I'm totally following this goddess and she's totally going to kill you, and you're gonna get stuff happen to you because you're taking their name and taking it to a dishonourable place. So that might be something worth watching out for, your own actions and consequences of your own actions. That being said, this is more about cursing and things, but I suppose in that respect you could have therefore negatively attacked yourself by your own actions. That's possible. That is possible. So in that circumstance, cleanse yourself, ground yourself, and go apologise. Basically, make amends if you can. Be humble. Right. So, I don't think witches are particularly obsessed. I often do protection magic and purification magic, and it just feels like a matter of course to me. It's just a part of being more aware. It's like there are people out there that want to harm others. It's a sad effect of life, but it's just how life is, unfortunately. Excuse me. And like I said, I've had some run-ins with this recently. So this is a good example. I held on to something someone sent me, and because they hadn't physically touched the item, and even though things ended badly and I was very upset with how they treated me and behaved, and I kept one of the items, and at the time I ummed and ahed about it. I spoke to my sister about it and she was like, well, she never touched it, you should be alright. And I was still umming and ahhing about it, and after some stuff happened, a different witchy friend was like, get rid of it. Get rid of the item. And get rid of anything that's broken recently. Not knowing the circumstances. The circumstances was that I had bought a pendulum that broke, and I had this item. So I got rid of both. And 5 minutes later, I am not kidding, 5 minutes later in the car, because I threw it out and we were going out, the car was broke down and was a write-off. Final hurrah of the cursed item. It's my fault for keeping it in my space, I guess. I should have realised that that person was still, and did know that that person was still bad-mouthing me and sending negativity my way. I should have realised. So, and I did try and cleanse it quite a few times before I gave up and threw it out. And it turned the water yellow. I left it for a little bit longer, it turned the water yellow. And there's no way that, it was a tumblestone, so there's no way it should have done that. But it did. So it's gone. just an example of people coming to you and you know what people are up to. It's happened to me recently, and I should have listened to myself in the first circumstance. I should have just trusted my gut instinct and got rid of it straight away. But I wasn't sure, and I should have just listened to myself. I should have just listened to my gut instincts. And sometimes it can be a bit difficult, you know. We think, oh, we've been a little bit about this. Is this a little bit? And it takes someone else to go, just get rid of it. To sort of make us think, yeah, let's just get rid of it. So, yeah. So that's an example of what happened to me recently. And items, you have to be very careful with items, particularly from people who have dubious ethical and moral standpoints on this sort of magic. Like, if you know a person may curse something, don't accept something from them. It's as simple as that. People who want control and these items, it's not worth it, because and then what do? You know, they try and hook their energies into you through items, and it happens. It's sad. It does happen, and for the rest of us who create things out of the goodness of our hearts and try and fill them with love, it makes things very difficult for the rest of us, because it's, yeah. So that's that. So cursed items do happen. If you get a bad feeling from an item, like you've bought a crystal, most people should be aware of feeling crystals before they buy them. If a crystal feels wrong to you when you pick it up, put it back down. It might just feel a bit icky, it just might make you feel a bit heavy, it might make you feel a bit... It's sort of like a crawling under the skin feeling. It's like, ugh, get rid of it. Just don't touch it. Any item that makes you feel like that has some negative energy on it somewhere, not worth it. Just don't do it. So I think we've talked about detecting. So let's just go over it in very quick terms, right? So if you feel something is wrong, there's a sign. Listen to your gut. If bad things keep happening to you and you haven't done anything where you think you need to apologise to a goddess or a person or anything, you don't think it's something that you've done in your heart of hearts, and you have to be honest with yourself about that, like really scrutinise what you've been doing, and you haven't done anything, but bad things keep happening over and over and over again, and you have to be a bit careful with that, because sometimes when one bad thing happens, a few other bad things happen because you feel so crappy, basically. And you normally those things wouldn't bother you, but because you're in a bad place they do. So be aware of that. It's like, would these things normally be so bad, or is it just because of how things are at the minute? And if they would normally be like meh, then it's possibly not. But if it's terrible thing after terrible thing after terrible thing, there's something going on there. If you've recently accepted something from somebody and some bad things have happened, and you believe that person would or is possibly negatively in some way, or you've had someone come into your life and negative things have started happening since being involved with them, that's all signs of negative magic from people, from items, from negative magic. So what do we do? How do we deal with this sort of thing? There are a number of different ways of dealing with this sort of thing. Now, if you are feeling really bad, like really got at, and things keep happening and you can't stop them happening and you just can't get out of that, it might be worth calling on somebody who is within the pagan or spiritual path for help. When things were really bad with me a few years ago, more than a few years ago now, but it's a little while ago now, and I couldn't pull myself out of my funk, basically. I had a really dear friend off the forum send me some stuff, and she did some magic for me first, and then she sent me some purification incense, some protection incense, some protection wall water. She sent me a whole box of stuff designed just to literally kick this thing in the teeth, and it did. But these are all things you can do. There are protection and purification incenses and things like that. Purification first, protection second. So, how can we purify ourselves? Well, smudge bundles are great. You can buy smudge bundles quite easily, and then you don't have to fill them with your own energy, you just utilise their energies already. You can also just call on your guides and your goddess and say, help. That might be the first thing, actually. Before you do anything else, pray, for lack of a better word. Talk to your goddess, talk to your god, talk to your spiritual source. Speak to your guides, ask for help. Sometimes the most powerful bits of magic, the most powerful spells, are heartfelt calls of need. That's what magic essentially is, need in a very real sense. Often we utilise other things and their energies to help focus our need, but these are things that are often only gifted to us when we need them. It's the universe basically giving us what we truly need, and sometimes we get what we truly need rather than what we want. Oh, sorry. I was moving over for something. So smudge bundles are a great idea. You can get them everywhere. You can ask someone you know to send you one, or you can use incense. And there's something really fantastic about the element of air for everything smudging. For everything getting rid of negative energies, negative vibrations, the element of air is brilliant, basically. So, first thing, as long as the weather permits, open all your windows. Have the element of air running through your home, running through you, if if you can stand in the wind. Ask the element of air, come into my home, cleanse all this negative energy, shift it out. It's literally having the windows open and just get rid of it. Clean your house as well. A good vacuum, a good dust, a good polish gets rid of all that physical crap which can hold on to energy crap. Get your favourite incense burning, smudge yourself with it, which is basically allowing the smoke to cover yourself and moving the smoke of the smudge or the incense around your body, allowing it to cleanse the energies through your bodies, cleansing through your chakras, that sort of thing. I use this. This is a swan feather that my dearest, bestest, most gorgeous friend sent me. She sent me a few. I'm going to utilise the others to make a protection thing. Possibly on my birthday. And I'm probably going to make it then. Okay. Now, this has an incredible energy to it. My Celtic zodiac animal is the swan, and there's all these connections to it that I didn't know. And there's something, my energy flows through it and just, it literally dusts off that negative energy. And I will actually do, after this, a meditation. I think a guided meditation for a good cleansing, and then a protection to follow it, just if you think you're being targeted by negative energy. But these are all things that you can do first. So smudging with air, allowing air into your home, allowing it to cleanse everything out, asking the element of air for help, as well as your god and your goddess and your guides, all of that good sort of thing. And a clean home helps. Sometimes we don't feel like it, but it can shoving your energy into cleaning can help cleanse your home. And you just imagine white light as you go in. So I'm scrubbing the floor, but not literally. And then you just white light as you're doing it. Laughter also helps. If you can find a way of giggling, of laughing at the situation, of laughing at the person who sent you whatever, it's an immensely powerful tool. Probably the most powerful tool. And I actually have, I think it's 3 or 4 line decurse spell. I'm not going to say it because it's mine and tough. But it sounds like a hip hop song. And I shake my ass while I'm singing it. And it literally makes me laugh every single time I do it. And because it makes me laugh, it breaks the power that any negative magic has. And it's silly, and it's funny, and it works. So there's that. That's also in the realm of air, within speaking, talking, singing, and humming all change the vibrations around you. If you have a favourite song or a power song, you can sing or hum it, and it will literally change the vibrations around you, help get rid of negative energies. So just, have you ever noticed that if you feel in a really bad mood, you stick your headphones on, blast it out, sing it out, you'll feel better? That's why. Okay, so then there's obviously cleansing by water. A good cleansing bath or shower is amazing for helping getting rid of negative energies. If you can have a bath with salt in it and just sort of visualize the water glowing white and then pulling all that negativity out of you and then washing it down the drain, then that's my arm in the smoky quartz. Sorry. So a good cleansing bath or in the shower and you visualise white light from your head to your toe and sort of the black gunk coming out of your feet and being washed away, that's really good. I do that every day in the shower and I call on each element. There's another video somewhere on the channel with that in it. It's something like a simple cleansing, so if you want to go find that, that's on there somewhere. Fire, you can do it by literally writing down all the bad things you think are going on and burning them in your cauldron. Or you could write down the name of the person that you think is cursing you and burn it, and just once you've done it, don't pay it any more mind. No mind. Once it's burnt, you've dealt with it, you've given it to the god and the goddess, let them deal with it. Handing stuff over to the god and the goddess is also the best way of dealing with people. You just light a candle, light your incense, talk to your god or goddess and say, I think this person is sending me negative magics, negative wishes or harm. I hand it over to you, god or goddess, to deal with it. And they will deal with it. So that's that. Salt around your property is a good way of protecting it. Obviously do your purifications first. And crystals are great to carry with you to protect you, and the one that's talking to me most right now is smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is a fantastic crystal for dealing with negative magic, because not only does it protect you, it takes negative energies and recycles them into positive energies, which is perfect if you are dealing with negative magic. I've also got a black candle here. These are great for reflecting magics. And then rue, hex breaking, curse removing, and negative clearing and protection, which is a fantastic herb for all these things that we've been talking about. You could just carry some around with you. You could anoint your candle with a bit of oil and then some rue and then burn it. It's all about filling it with your energies, you know, telling it what you want it to do, literally. You know, you anoint your candle with some oil, anoint it with the rue, and then burn it for that intention and believe that that will happen. It's literally manifesting what you want to happen. You want this negative magic to stop. You want this negative energy to stop, to leave you alone. Now, there are many, many different forms of purification and protection, and it's literally learning what's best for you. I've covered some ideas briefly, and if anyone wants more information about any specific idea, please leave me a comment and I will try my best to go over that in a bit more depth or answer your comment. The best advice I think I can give you with negative magic working is to listen to your gut. If you think something's going on, then it probably is. If you're pretty sure you know where it's coming from, then you're probably right. That is not to say go on the attack for someone. I would, you know, I really would not. And because you're only going to attract more negativity into your life anyway. However, listen to your heart and soul, cleanse yourself, protect yourself, and believe in the power of your divine. So that's going to be it for this video. Many blessings.